Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on wherever you find yourself in the world. Today, I'm currently in the Maldives on my honeymoon. My husband is being so gracious as to give me a few minutes to just record a quick idea I had for a podcast, basically, because I think that this is such a good metaphor for the different ways that we can go through life and kind of the experience that we gather based on our kind of two modes of looking at the world. Now, of course, there's more than two modes, but for this example, that's what I'll be using. So I just got back from doing snorkeling for the first time since I started having panic attacks, and it was the first time I ever snorkeled without a life vest, first time I snorkeled without the safety net that I consider to be a life vest. So we were snorkeling, and I found myself going in and out of kind of the panic mode, the mode where I was really buying into my imagination. So I'll give some examples of that. There were times where I was snorkeling and I couldn't touch, and I had all of these thoughts come in of like, oh my goodness, what happens if water comes into my mask and I can't see, and then I panic and then I drown? Or what happens if I go too deep and the snorkel fills up with air and again I can't breathe? Again, a lot of this kind of really panicky, kind of fearful thinking. Or also there's been like a little shark that's gone in and out of our balcony, and so in that mode also I was thinking, oh my gosh, what happens if I see the shark? Will I panic and have a panic attack? So what's interesting again is this is all imagination, because I didn't see the shark. My mask was fine. I didn't get any water in my eye. I didn't get any water up my nose. I didn't, suffocate from not having not enough air or for water coming into the snorkel. And so, of course, I'm grateful to see that was just imagination. Because how often in our lives do we take imagination as reality? And that's when things like panic attacks happen. And especially when I was in over my head in the water, I realized, okay, a panic attack right now would really not be helpful. And so I was able naturally to shift into the mode of awareness, or sometimes people call that presence, where I was just calm and breathing very slowly and just floating and realizing when I get tired, hey, as human beings, you float in the sea. So there really wasn't as much to do as my panicky thinking would make me believe that there was. And the beauty of what then happened is in that moment of relaxation, in that moment of, sometimes we call it flow or peak performance, in that moment of flow, I could really enjoy what was going on, what I was seeing, the different colored fish and the little spiky sea urchins and the long spiky fish and the small fish. Again, I was much more tuned to reality and what was actually going on. And it was actually a much more peaceful experience, and it was also a much more practical experience, because when the current did become strong, I just leaned into, what to do. There were moments when I realized I should kick, strong to catch up with Emmett, and there were other times where I just let the current carry me to where I wanted to go. And so my question to you is, how often in your own life are you believing that your imagination is actually reality? And how often are you attending to things that your imagination would have you believe are true when you really don't need to do that? So today I really invite you to observe a little bit more that functioning of the human mind. Because there are times when I'm speaking with clients and they'll tell me, yeah, I was in the car and I just kept thinking about how nervous I am around my boss, or how much I hate my boss, or they'll talk about all their financial problems or the problems they have with their wife or their children or other coworkers. And what's so fascinating is that those people and those items aren't even around them when they're in the car. That's pure imagination. And because of how the human system works, when people are engaged in that frenzied, highly emotional, highly reactive thinking, they can't help but experience that because they're believing that it's reality. So there is a opportunity here for greater freedom with your own experience and more peace of mind even within the storm. That seeing that the panicked thinking and is in fact often imagination. And so I again encourage you to just be aware of that functioning today. How many times do you catch yourself engaging in imagination and are completely out of reality? And conversely, when you attend to reality, what's the result? What is the lived experience of these two modes of being in the world? That's all I have for you today. Again, greetings from the Maldives. The current is picking up as I'm speaking, and I will speak to you again soon. Again, my name is Amy Leo. You've been listening to What We Should Have Learned in School, and you can learn more about me and the work I do in the world at amyleo.com. Until next time, stay curious, take care of yourself, and keep rocking.